This is Heidi Goldman, and you have found your way to some social media video for the Yes Yoga system. And today I have broken it down, some of the parts of larger sequences to the smallest segment. And we're going to do some shoulder mobility movement. For those of you that have some shoulder discomfort, this might give you some ideas for discovery and inquiry. A couple things to start out with for all my training, and that is no neck pain, no back pain. It's wrong. Check with your healthcare professional. Feel free to reach out to me at yesyogasystems.com. You'll find this video, all my videos there, with additional handouts. So would love for you to come by and take advantage of them and leave a comment, yay or nay, and we'll just work this out together. And so one of the things I was trying to do in this series is, again, make it into the smallest piece. So at the end of this, I am going to spend a couple moments talking a little bit about the anatomy and the benefits, but for now we're just going to do the movement. So find a chair for comfort, or blankets, or some sitting cushion that you use. I'm going to take my ball, place it behind me, and right in between my sitting bones. The sitting bones are lower to the ground than your tailbone, so it protects the tailbone from the ball, and this gives me the integrity, the uprightness that I really quite enjoy for most of my sitting postures. And there's lots of stuff that I'd like to share with you. So this is a piece of a sequence. We're going to take a ball, and really the different size balls are, it just depends on the mobility and the spacing in your shoulders, and I'm looking for comfort. So small might be better to start out with, especially if you're having some pain. And we're going to take a moment, and we're just going to close our eyes. And I want you to feel your head and neck. Notice this position is the head over the shoulders, or the shoulders comfortably over your hips. I want you to feel your arm sockets, one side versus the other. Feel that difference. Notice all the subtleties, because this is the yoga of inquiry. And so we want to kind of inquire to, okay, what does the right feel like? Take a moment. Do you feel rounded? Do you feel your collarbone? Do you feel tension in your neck? What's your shoulder blade like? And then go to the other side, the left side. Feel it. Just note it. Because we're going to come back here at the end of this little sequence and see if anything's changed. And that's really where the somatic work, that's really where the Yes Yoga system is all about. It's having you start from a place of inquiry, explore the movement, come back, wait, because that's where the nervous system integrates what that's learned, and then move on to the next piece. So it takes a little time and spaciousness, which I'm going to have you go through this with me right now, and you might want to take a longer time, turn off the video, and spend more time in each position. Okay, so we're going to take this ball, and I'm going to place it underneath the armpit. My suggestion is to use your good side, so whether it's left or right, unless they're both kind of compromised or they're both really good, just pick a side. I often like the good one because it's going to teach the one that has the discomfort. So I'm going to use my right side right now, and I'm going to place the ball underneath there, really stick it up into the socket, and that's where the size makes a difference. For me, this is too big. Can you see that movement? I like it smaller than that. So we're going to play with this. Now, you know I'm a balloon girl, but I happen to like the tension and the sensation of a playground ball. Okay, place your hand on your wrist, and then begin slowly to move each and every point on a clock. Not digital, but an old standard clock. So here's noon for me. 1, or whatever it is, you could be 10, 9, 8. So moving around your clock, and slowly begin to feel each and every point on the clock, and just breathe comfortably. There'll be other series that I'll talk to you about your breath, And I just want you to breathe and not hold it for the moment. Okay? And it should feel delicious. Remember, talk to your healthcare professional and make sure it's okay, especially if you're in treatment. And once again, adjust your ball, come forward. Just a little bit of tension on that wrist, nothing, it's just a little bit of movement. And feeling it all the way through the collarbone and into the neck and the shoulder blade in a very comfortable way. Remember, less is more in my class. Forward, each and every point on your clock, make the small movements small. We're going to do it 3 or 4 times. We're on number 2, and breathe. Take your time. Notice, okay, here's maybe this spot right here, and just play around with it, just a little bit. Okay. One more time, let's do it 3 times today. Forward, really adjust it. Make sure you have it comfortable. Take the moment. Each spot, breathe. If you have large breasts, they can sometimes get in the way a little bit, as you know, so make room for them. Not too tight, just gently. Less is more. The initiation of the movement is all that I'm looking for the neuromuscular changes and integration. Right. Last movement. I want you to imagine that you're slightly bringing your shoulder to your ear. We're not squeezing it. We're just making an intention. We're just dropping the head slightly. It's not a large movement. We're just bringing the shoulder up slightly. We're not really squeezing. It's just an action. And we're going to hold for a moment. Because the nervous system sometimes holds tension, and if it knows you're not going to beat it up, it's going to let go for you. So just stay here a moment. Breathe. Lightly, comfortably, and then slowly release. And as you release, you're kind of moving the head and and neck in the opposite direction, just a little bit, just more about letting go and unraveling than you are making a great action over to the other side. And then come back, and then do it one more time, last one. So we did it 3 times. We did our neck and shoulder movement towards each other. The last movement, making the shoulder go around, using your wrist and other hand just enough. Use your breath. Place the ball down in front of you. Close your eyes and feel. I am always amazed at how different each side feels and how much freer the side that I just worked on is. All right, so stay here a moment. Let the residual happen for you, meaning there's a sensation that's going on from its newness, and there's information that's getting put into the nervous system, and let it kind of resonate and vibrate in there. And then wait and breathe. And then slowly you might see you're going to start going back to your old kind of scrunched up place or whatever that feels like, but just hang out for a moment. Okay, so there's knowledge in the system already in your body. And the other side has learned, whether you know it or not, a little bit about what we're looking for. So, take your arm, place it, make room for the ball to get really up in the crevice. Take your hand, place it around your wrist, the opposite hand. And once again, you might have to adjust. Come forward. Move each and every spot on your clock, your imaginary clock, all the way around. And again, just as far as comfortable. If you're dealing with some tight frozen shoulders or things are going on, you might not get far back or far forward. So don't force it. Just feel a delicious move in each and every one. Use your breath. Forward and back, that's 1. Let's do it again. Breathe. No pain, no discomfort, deliciousness. Take your time. Each point. Right. Feel my wrist, moving my elbow a little bit, creating extension. Movement. And then last one. Each and every one. Take your time. No hurry. Notice the range. If it's comfortable, stay in it. Comfort zone, we're not going past it. It's all the neurobiology, just the initial initiation of the movement will make the change. And then place the elbow sort of in line with the side ribs. Lightly bring the head down and the shoulder up. It's not how far up it goes, just initiate the movement. Wait a moment. Just hang out. The body says, oh my God, she's not going to hurt me. Okay, I'm going to let go. And you can just feel it go. So we're wanting to have the ahs in many positions so the body begins to come back to them. And slowly just allow, it's more of just an intention, the shoulder to drop back to a comfortable position and the head lightly, just lightly stretching away from the shoulder. It's not a deep movement. Breathing, not holding your breath. And then coming back one more time, just for fun, each and every movement. Feel in there. Notice the arm bone and the shoulder socket. Notice the rib cage. So if you have osteoporosis, be really, really careful of pressing the ball too tight. It's not a dramatic movement, but it does give you flexibility in the ribs, and it's really quite nice in that place. All right? Taking the ball, place it down comfortably, rest, and allow the sensation to reverberate in your nervous system. Wow, it's nice. Notice the difference between the left and right side. Has the left one creeped up a little bit, or has it still have the memory of the movement that it did? What can you tell about your neck and your shoulder and the length of your torso, and maybe even the ribs now have been stimulated? So just notice. Notice the tension maybe in your diaphragm or the release in belly. Just hang out. Take a couple more breaths. You might even notice where you place your hands, whether it's closer to your knees or slide them with me down towards your hip sockets. Each movement has a different effect on the body. Small and delicious. Okay, that's it. First segment for you in this series, and one of my favorite. I use it all the time. Thank you very much. Then I would like you, turn off the video or continue on surfing, or you can stay with me for a little bit more and I'll show you a couple things. So here is a shoulder blade. Here's the collarbone. I'm going to try to keep away from the names of the anatomical names, although I may squeeze them in. And here is the shoulder, the head of the shoulder right here in the glenoid process, actually, right in here for yourself. So you're going to take that, and you're going to take your humerus, or the upper arm bone, and I want you to notice it's very, very, very shallow right here. And you're going to take, notice how this is a very large bone, and this is shallow, quite a bit different than the shoulder, than the hip area. And it's easy for it to be dislocated. So that's the first thing. You want to make sure that the ball is not too big to try to overstretch, because these ligaments and tendons will not go back together again, and that may be some of the reason that you're having some discomfort. You also have the collarbone and the processes that hang out on the side. And so you want to make sure that you're not jamming up into it, and that we're looking for a lovely space and just playing around. I have no answers, just exploration. Okay? So one of the things in future series that we're going to be doing together in sequences is I work a lot with the scapula and the shoulder blade. So we're going to put, so if you'll notice, I put it right back in here. This is the shoulder blade. And what you do in the shoulder socket has a lot to do with how the shoulder blade reacts, and the vice versa. How the shoulder blade moves has a lot to do with your arm and shoulder pain in this area. So we want to work both of them together and separately. And so one of the next sequences that I'm going to show you, the segment, is how to mobilize. I want you to notice something. You see that this lays over the ribs. It's actually really not glued or attached to them, and sometimes when we have a roundness in our upper body and we have tightness in the muscles that support the shoulder blade, it feels like the shoulder blade is actually attached to the ribs, but they're not. They're attached to muscles and different muscular material. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say for the anatomical part of that, is just to be really super careful that you don't overstretch the area and that you're starting to get involved in, maybe it's touching up here. Maybe it's not sitting in the back part of the socket as opposed to, or moving more in the front part of the socket. So we're going to try to kinesthetically and somatically go in there and imagine what it might feel like and see if we can't create spaciousness. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, and I hope that I gave you a gleam, a little bit of information, a pearl that might go, I get it now. So come join me, come over to my website and give me some feedback, and it's just been wonderful to have you visit. Thank you.